Imagine waking up one morning and seeing the sky light up in brilliant colors, reds, greens, purples, everywhere you look, even if you're nowhere near the North or South Pole. The night sky, usually so familiar and dark, is suddenly transformed into a swirling canvas of light, so bright it almost feels like daytime. People step outside in their pajamas, rubbing their eyes in disbelief as the heavens put on a show that no one alive has ever seen before. That's exactly what happened back in September 1859 during the most powerful solar storm in recorded history, the legendary Carrington event. Newspapers from the era were filled with astonished reports, and people from all walks of life were left speechless by the spectacle. It was a moment that would go down in history not just for its beauty, but for the chaos it unleashed. So what caused it? Let's rewind the clock and travel back to a time before electricity was everywhere, before smartphones and satellites, when the world was just beginning to understand the mysteries of the sun. On September 1st, a British astronomer named Richard Carrington was carefully studying the sun. He was one of the few people at the time who dedicated their lives to observing the skies, recording sunspots and solar activity with meticulous detail. Suddenly, he noticed a blinding flash, a solar flare erupting right before his eyes. This was something no one had ever documented so clearly before. Carrington quickly sketched what he saw, not realizing he was witnessing the start of a cosmic event that would soon impact the entire planet. Within just 17.5 hours, an astonishingly short time for solar debris, the blast from that flare, a massive coronal mass ejection, slammed into Earth's magnetic field. Usually it takes days for such solar material to reach us, but this one was traveling at record speed, carrying unimaginable energy. That's like the sun fast-pitching a billion-ton cloud of charged particles straight at us with almost no warning. The energy released was so intense it compressed Earth's magnetic field and sent shockwaves rippling through the atmosphere. Telegraphs, the cutting-edge technology of the time, went haywire. These machines were the backbone of global communication, connecting cities and countries in ways never before possible. Operators got shocked. Some even reported sparks leaping off their equipment. The sudden surges of electricity were so powerful that they could actually ignite papers and cause minor fires. Wires caught fire in a few places, offices were thrown into chaos as messages became garbled or stopped altogether, and some operators feared for their safety as their equipment sparked and smoked. Here's the wildest part. Some telegraph systems kept working, even when unplugged from their batteries, powered by the electricity generated by the storm itself. And the auroras. They were so bright people could read newspapers outside at midnight. People as far south as the Caribbean watched the night sky dance with color. In places where auroras had never been seen before, entire communities gathered outside, marveling at the spectacle and wondering if it was a sign from above. Gold miners in the Rockies thought morning had arrived in the middle of the night. The auroras were so bright. Some even began making breakfast, convinced the day had started early, only to realize it was still the dead of night. But it wasn't all fun and games. The Carrington event showed just how vulnerable we are to the sun's tantrums. It was a wake-up call for scientists and engineers who realized that our technology, even in its infancy, could be brought to its knees by forces from space. If something like that hit us today, with our satellites, power grids and global internet, the consequences would be far more serious, and that's why scientists still study this storm today. A similar event now could disrupt navigation systems, knock out power for millions and cause trillions in damages worldwide. The Carrington event set the gold standard for space weather research. It's the reason we keep an eye on the sun and why we're always preparing for the next big one. Today, teams of scientists around the world monitor solar activity 24/7, using advanced satellites and observatories to give us as much warning as possible. So next time you see a beautiful aurora, remember it's a gentle reminder from the sun of just how wild things can get. These lights are more than just a pretty show. They're a sign of the powerful forces at work in our solar system and a reminder of our planet's delicate place in the cosmos. If you enjoyed this deep dive into cosmic history, don't forget to like, share, and follow for more science adventures. There's always more to discover about our universe, and who knows what the next solar storm might bring.